Alright, so you want to learn how to ride a motorcycle. I will show you exactly what I did to teach myself how to ride a motorcycle. We're going to go over the basics today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share this video, and if you want to see more in the future, consider subscribing. If you have any questions at all, leave me a comment below. If you have any suggestions at all, leave me a comment below. I load a new video every week. Maintenance, how-tos, well, that's maintenance. How-tos and how to ride. Well, that's a how-to. Subscribe. Let's get to it. If we're going to do the basics, then let's do the basics. Because when I first stepped foot on a motorcycle, I didn't know anything about a motorcycle. I understood where the clutch and the brake and the gear and blah blah, but I didn't know how to turn it on. I didn't know anything. So I don't mean to be break it down too Barney style, but for those of you who are truly trying to learn how to ride a motorcycle and just have no idea and there's nobody around to teach you, so that's kind of why you haven't gotten into this yet, then let me quickly go over the basics with you. Alright, so this is my bike. This is a Suzuki Savage or an S40. Key goes here, turn it in the on position. What you will notice is there's that green indicator light, it's really bright outside, but that's going to let you know the bike is in neutral. That's important because if you try and start it and it's not neutral, it might not start, or if you're anyways, you need it in neutral. Kill switch is over here, and turn it on. Then pull the clutch in and hit this starter button. You can let go of the clutch because it's in neutral. This, as you know, is the throttle. Here's your brake. Here's front brake, rear brake, and right here, that's how you shift. And here's your clutch. Let's do it. Now, I had a little bit of a leg up in this because I actively rode bicycles, which gives you a little bit of an understanding how to hold your balance on two wheels. And in addition to that, I had a little bit of a head start because I've driven a stick shift before, so I understand the concept behind the clutch. They have what they call the friction zone in the clutch. When you pull the clutch in, you're going to notice when you let it go, you're going to notice this point right about halfway, or it might be different on different bikes, but where the gear is going to start to kick in. So just getting out of the driveway, kickstand up, clutch in, I'm going to kick that down into first gear. Don't let go of the clutch, otherwise the bike's going to jerk forward and shut off. So slowly roll on the throttle. You're twisting it this way. And slowly let go of the clutch until you feel the bike move forward, and then let go. Or pull it back in. Don't let it go. I'm sorry. So we'll do it again. Keep doing that until you start to get a feel for your clutch. So, once you're past that point and you have a feel for your clutch, what I literally did was, since I live where I park in the grass and whatnot, and there's a little bit of dirt here, I walked my bike a lot. I kind of played with this. If you think for a moment the bike's gonna die, and you're gonna shut it off. You're gonna do this like 800 times. Well, maybe not 800. I did it probably, honestly, like 10 times. So don't freak out. Just pull the clutch in, tap the foot up a little bit until you see that indicator light come back on. Then you're in neutral. Your clutch is still pulled in. You're going to do the same thing and start the bike all over again. No big deal. It just might scare you a little bit. So once again, I'm gonna go down into first gear and roll and let go of the clutch. And if you feel like you need to pull the clutch in, pull the clutch in. And I'm kind of, I mean, this is kind of a no-no, but this is what I did to just get out of my driveway. Was just kind of walk myself out. Once I got here, you know, look both ways, and I would walking myself out. I didn't take an MSF course. I didn't have anybody to teach me, so this is just what I did. Now that you've got yourself out on the street, this is what we're gonna do. I'm in first gear, my clutch is pulled in. I'm gonna slowly roll on the throttle and let go of the clutch and pick your feet up. At this point, now that you're on the street, you don't want your feet to dangle. That's just, you could hurt yourself, or it's just, don't do it. So, while I'm doing this, I'm staying in first gear. We're not doing anything, we're just staying in first gear. We're gonna pull the clutch in right here and roll off the throttle, push on the foot brake, and pull on the handbrake, and stop. Make sure there's nobody coming behind us. And then I would half click up to get myself in neutral, let go of the clutch. I would stand and push the bike. Be careful when you do this, because I would sometimes roll the throttle on accident and scare the shit out of myself. And this I did every day, 1 hour in the morning for a week. So again, pull the clutch in, kick down into first gear, roll on the throttle, slowly let go of the clutch. And I kept my hand on the clutch, because if you're feeling, you know, a little insecure or a little wonky, pull that clutch in. Because if you let go and then you kind of roll the throttle too hard, or if you let go of the throttle, if you roll the throttle too hard, then you're gonna fucking jet forward and scare yourself. If you let go of the throttle by accident, because you're, you know, tense up or whatever it is, then the bike may stall on you and jerk, and that could give you a little bit of a scare too. So just pull the clutch in. Pull the clutch in, and then it doesn't, like, as long as you're holding that clutch, you're good. So brake, make sure there's nobody coming behind me, and there is, but I could do this before they get here. So half click up, I'm in neutral, let go of the clutch, stand, I turn the bike. And I would just repeat this process, no joke, for an hour every day, just riding in first gear and only first gear. I wanted to make sure that I started to ingrain just the clutch and the throttle and the braking in my brain, and it started to become muscle memory before I started to overload myself with shifting and with this and that, yada yada. So every day for an hour or 30 minutes, whatever you can spare, just get on your side street wherever you live and go up and down in first gear, just practicing going. I did 1 week of the just stopping and going and standing and turning myself around. I did 1 week of that for 1 hour a day. And then for the next week, I stayed in first gear, but this time, instead of coming to a complete stop when I get up here, I'm going to pull in the clutch, I'm going to start to brake a little bit, but I'm going to allow the bike to turn itself. So something I forgot to mention, when you're riding a motorcycle, it's not like driving a car. You got to brake and slow down before the turn. A lot of times when you're driving a car, you'll brake while you're turning, but you can't do that on a motorcycle. You've got to get to the speed that you need to maintain in the turn, because if you brake while turning, it will cause the front wheel to fold in on you and you'll fall. So be careful. When you're coming to your turn, brake to the appropriate speed, and then turn, and right when you get to the apex of the turn, you're going to speed up. Anyhow, back to it. Look where you want the bike to go. Don't look down. I know that you're going to be tempted to look down while you're doing all this, and that's okay. You can glance down quickly. But while you're driving and you're trying to U-turn and you're trying to turn and whatever, you're trying to turn, you've got to look where you want the bike to go. And this is how I'm going to explain it to you. In boxing, they always say, watch his head. That's going to tell you, that's going to telegraph the move because the body follows the head. It's the same thing on a motorcycle. Wherever your head is pointed is where your body's kind of going to lean, and where your body's going to lean is where the weight on the bike's going to be, and where the weight on the bike is where the bike's going to go. So if you're looking down and forward, you're just going to go forward even though you're trying to turn. Or you're going to turn, but you're looking forward and you're going to lose your balance. So look through the turn. Look where you want the bike to go. Clutch is pulled in, rolled off the throttle, I'm braking, and turn. And then come to us. After a week of that, first gear, once again, you know the drill. Throttle, clutch, pick up your feet, and we're going. This time I would take it to 15, 20 miles an hour, pull in the clutch, let go of the throttle, kick this up into second gear, and go. Then I would pull in the clutch, let go of the throttle, kick down into first gear, press the brake with my foot, pull in the handbrake lever, and turn the bike. And come to a stop. Same thing. Going down the street, my 6.4. 20 miles an hour, pull in the clutch, let go of the throttle, click up to second gear. And then after a week of getting into second gear and then turning, I would do a week of getting into third gear and turning. At this point, I've spent 3 weeks just going up and down my street. My neighbors thought I was weird, but that's alright. And I realized, fuck, I need gas. So I was like, man, I've been taking it up and down the street at 30 miles an hour, and I feel comfortable with shifting and braking and doing a U-turn and kind of turning or whatever. I made a small goal. My small goal was that gas station right over there. I figured I can go on the line, I can turn in, I can get gas and just come right back. So you've got to look where you want the bike to go. Pull the clutch, click down to first. Check this way, don't go yet, because he will hit you. And don't pressure yourself. Wait for the just wait. Just wait for these fuckers. It's a beautiful day. Roll on the throttle, let go of the clutch. Look where I want the bike to go. Not where the bike is, where I want it to go. Shift up into second. Pull in the clutch, roll off, shift up into third. Blinker, pull in the clutch, brake, shift down to first gear. Roll on the throttle, let go of the clutch, and roll into town. Bam! Mission accomplished. Winning. So boom, you get gas, you get back on the horse. Turn your blinker off though. And then same thing, just let go of the clutch, put on the gas, pull in the clutch, let off the throttle, shift into second, roll on the throttle, let go of the clutch. Now, it helped me to say this shit out loud. Like, no joke, I would tell myself, okay, pull in the clutch, brake, shift down. Ooh, this asshole behind me, asshole. Roll on the throttle, slowly let go of the clutch. Turn off the blinker. Pull in the clutch, roll off the throttle, shift up into second. Roll on the throttle, let go of the clutch. Alright, well, you guys check out this other video I got for you. I got this for charging systems. If you're having issues with your battery, this is going to help you kind of figure that out. Also, be sure to check out why you should learn on a Suzuki Savage or an S40 Boulevard. Fantastic bike. This is a Savage right here. It's a great bike to learn on. So check out that video to find out why. Moto Mantha out. Like this video, share this video, and if you want to see the next one that's coming out next week, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Stay safe. I'll see you next week.